Georgia State homecoming. It's never been realer than this, y'all. Oh my goodness. By the grace of God, I'm here. Sam and JD are fine. They're normal human beings. They don't make bad decisions before they have to do important stuff. So yeah, I'm 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 unhinged. Okay, I'm sorry. But pay for play. Week what, 7, bro? Like, good lord, man. Like, it's almost fucking over, man. I'm fucking sad. But week 7, pay for play. We're in the building. My guy Dumb Brain Picks, aka Sam, is in the building. Special guest JD is in the building as well. We have a special week on the west side, so we had to get our boy up and at him early. Brothers, how you doing? First of all.
JD, I'll let you go first.
Oh, I'm doing well. Bright and early, still waking up. Huge game today. Huge slate of games today, you guys. It's an excellent slate. So I'm doing fantastic.
Bro, it's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. I got a couple of bets that I'm liking, so I think it's gonna be a good day. Sam, how you feeling, man?
We've officially reached football weather in the Midwest. Gloomy, 50s, like nice crisp in the air. Walked and got some breakfast sandwiches this morning to get us up and at 'em. But unfortunately, we'll have to miss some of the slate. But we're celebrating wifey's birthday weekend, so gonna take her out to a nice dinner. But sometimes you gotta sacrifice college football for the honeydews.
It's okay. Yeah. At least y'all have Auburn today. You know what I'm saying? At least y'all have a incompetent team. So, you don't have to be worried. And, by the time 7 o'clock, they might have a TV in the restaurant you go to. You know what I'm saying? Maybe.
Should be back by 7. We're going to an early dinner. So.
Okay. So we're good. Before we start, we were talking about this off camera, y'all, but I want to know why in the hell did the Colorado Buffaloes lose to a team who lost to Sacramento State last night? That's my question. A team that lost to Sacramento State. I just can't explain it. JD, what you were saying? Travis looked like he was just on his last leg for most of the game. So what happened?
So after the first touchdown, you see Travis obviously looked great. It was a great touchdown. This dude is clearly like huffing and puffing more than he has in any game because cameras are always panning to him, like TCU game, right? He's playing a million snaps. They're like, is this guy human? So we've gotten a lot of close-ups at this guy's face after doing incredible things for 4 hours, and he was already huffing and puffing. So I'm like, how much has this guy practiced over the last couple of weeks? And then in his second touchdown, he takes a shot right to his gut super hard. He's keeled over on the sidelines. Looks terrible. Still huffing and puffing. And then he was out of gas in the second half. The whole team was out of gas. They don't have any depth. And Travis Hunter was out of gas. The guy he was covering went for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns on like 20 targets. They were just picking on him because they knew he'd get tired if you keep picking on him. And then Shedeur just kind of turned into a pumpkin. Some poor decision making, and that's the recipe. I don't know how you blow a lead to Stanford. 30 points to Stanford.
Dog. It's nuts. And again, they lost to Sacramento State, a team that they paid to play. You see what I did there? Paid to play. Yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and get it started, man. I mean, I can't believe that lost. Like I was in the bar. I saw, 29-0 at halftime. Cool. I'll count my money tomorrow morning. I'll be with my guys. It's gonna be a great morning. And then it went all downhill from there. I had too many more shots. Obviously, my bet lost, so it's not been a great morning for me. But it's okay. We're gonna make it a better one. We're gonna go over these games. It's gonna be a good slate, like we said, and we'll start in good old Rocky Top. Texas A&M coming off of a loss last week where they just look very vanilla. I had Bama winning that game just because I said it simple and plain. That's one of the games that the old man wins. I know he hates Lane, but I know he hates Jimbo even more, his oldest son. Tennessee, I don't know really how to call it, a season for them. They've been, up and down. They had a pretty bad loss to Florida. They come back and, they make a statement against South Carolina, which I thought they wouldn't do. But they're -3 in this game, kind of expected. Kind of two teams that are relatively evenly matched. So, Sam, I'll start with you. How are you feeling about this one? Because this one's a little wonky. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I believed in him last week, and I hated it in the moment. I hate it more now. I, A&M's lost 7 straight road games, like true road games. So I know Tennessee's look like two completely different teams between like their games at home and their games on the road. They look great against South Carolina. That defense was alive and flying all over the field. And A&M's defense made Jalen Milroe look like a competent quarterback last week, and I still don't believe that that's something that can happen every week. So maybe they'll allow Joe Milton to do the same. I think it's going to be a rocking environment, and give me the home team. I think Tennessee kind of pulls away with this one. I just don't believe in A&M on the road until they show it to me. I got a Tennessee -3.
Leaning the same way. I'm looking at the total. This 54.5 seems a tad bit low. But I mean, Tennessee's not a great defensive team. I don't think that at all. Texas A&M has been okay defensively. Last week they got burnt a little bit, but I'm kind of looking at the total. JD, how you feeling?
I like what you guys are saying. I lean both ways. I'm going to end up with a Tennessee ticket here. It's at -3. I haven't been a big fan of Tennessee this year, but their defense is a lot better this year. A lot better. So like you said, you still have questions. I still do as well, especially in the secondary. But that's the thing with both of these teams. They're both good along the defensive front. They both kind of cause havoc, but the secondary, you can beat them. And we see some great numbers, some great sack numbers from both teams, but keep in mind who they're playing, the non-conference. Once you start getting the SEC, you got guys like Evan Stewart, Squirrel White, running out there. If you're just sending the house every single play and your secondary stinks, because both these teams are outside like the top 120 in passing explosiveness. I think there's going to be some big shots. A&M in particular, man, like they are just not shy about what they're doing. They're going to get some pressure here, but Tennessee's O-line is fine, man. They may not run it quite as well as they always do, but they run it well in every matchup. They've shown that last year against Alabama. They've shown that time and time again. You get Cooper Mays back, their best offensive lineman. So I'm kind of liking Tennessee here. I know trusting Joe Milton, it's not great, but I already talked about what's going to happen on the field, and then you get the off the field factors. Sam mentioned A&M can't win away from home. Heupel 7-1 coming off a bye. Offense should look the best it's looked coming off the bye week. I like Squirrel White to have a big day. I like Tennessee to win here, and I don't hate the over. I think A&M's going to have some sneaky over games here. It hasn't quite come back to bite them yet, but Alabama looked like they didn't know what a forward pass was until last week, and Milroe's throwing for 300 plus. Jermaine Burton is just like 2 years ago. We thought this man was the truth. I forgot he existed until last week. So I like Tennessee.
Yeah, that guy's name is Benedict Arnold in my house, JD. I'm not gonna lie. Benedict Arnold talks a good game. I don't know what the hell he was saying to the fans after the game last week. It's just a very unlikable guy. Not gonna be frank. You know what I'm saying? He's just a very unlikable guy. But
scorned us both.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like,
recruiting, he decommitted on signing day from LSU, flipped to Georgia. Then he goes after a natty, transfers to Alabama. This guy
to the enemy. Like he's
on the shit list for both of us.
Yeah, he's a weird individual. I'm not gonna lie, but shout out to him and his family or whatever. Trying to be nice. But yeah, I might go with y'all with Tennessee -3. Again, like JD said, Joe Milton is like. He's a toss-up. Like he might look like, the second coming of, Michael Vick, or he might look like Jacoby Brissett. Like there's no in between. So don't know how this one is going to go, but I would lean Tennessee. I think their stadium is cursed as well. So I think it's probably going to fare well for them in this matchup. But we'll keep it pushing with the big one in JD's household. Man. USC has been one of those teams where like it's like the pretty girl with the bad personality. You know what I'm saying? Like she's good, you know what I'm saying? She's cool, but when you start talking to her, it's like, oh, I don't know. Like, her personality is kind of shitty. But we got Notre Dame at the crib, -3. Obviously, the big game. JD, you've gone through many of these games. Probably the best quarterback on USC side that you've seen in this matchup. But again, probably the best quarterback you've seen on your side in this matchup. So, how are you feeling about this game going into it after the debacle that happened last week, bro? I mean, that was bad.
I'm not feeling great, to be honest with you. Obviously, Notre Dame has a shot because, of course, you do when USC's defense is what it is. Especially concerning seeing how we just saw Colorado have no gas in the second half last night, and then somehow they did that in the second half against USC. Doesn't really add up. Is what the theme is with these Lincoln Riley USC teams. My issue is here. Like last year, Notre Dame lost in the trenches against USC, and it was pretty shocking. So where does that leave us this year? Notre Dame's offensive line, if you get dominated by Louisville, are you going to dominate USC? I don't know, man. USC is like decent up front. They can't tackle and they can't really cover sometimes, but their D line is decent. Their O line is not great, but it's decent. So I don't think the advantage is overwhelming there. USC has the better quarterback. They have by far the better skill position players. And I'm just not confident enough in Notre Dame holding USC down to win this game because those skill position players are going to break out. And even like the teams we've seen beat USC's defense in the past, like, I don't know, maybe we need to give them a little more credit. Like Notre Dame doesn't have scholarship wide receivers. It's been a monumental failing for a number of years now. And it's a failing that's keeps coming back to bite him. I don't see why it wouldn't come back to bite him here. Hartman's great, but he's not as good as Caleb, and his skill positions are not there. So even if you have the way better defense, I could see it, but I don't see why Notre Dame should be the favorite here, personally.
I feel you. What about you, Sam?
This was a talk it out game for me, just because I see the weather that's coming, and this is a Notre Dame. This is something Notre Dame does a lot. I think it's a grow the grass out game. Like grass is going to be a little bit longer up at Notre Dame. It's going to be wet. It's going to be slick. It's going to be cold. It's going to be windy. And I don't know if Notre Dame's defense can stop USC's offense, but I think their defense plus this weather and environment they're going into. I mean, I think the teams that have had success, like even Colorado was able to run the ball a little bit on USC's defense. And if Notre Dame can't do it now, I don't know when they're going to be able to do it. It's going to be another like 8-4 year, it looks like. But I do have one play on this game. I'm not picking a side yet. I haven't figured out which way I'm going. Like every instinct I have tells me Notre Dame, and I might pull a Costanza. And just because of how bad I've been this year, every instinct I have is wrong. So the opposite must be correct. And I might just go USC plus the points, but I do like SMA 2+ touchdowns plus 230. A little sprinkle on that one for me.
That's a very good bet. I love that. I'm adding that right now.
There we go. Look, I had it too. Look, that's why we talk it out, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? That's why you have friends. That's what friends are for. Yeah, I'm leaning with the points with USC, to be honest. Like you guys said, I mean, we know they're going to be an explosive offense. We know what Caleb is going to do. We don't even have to question that. It's just, is the weather going to be a factor for the Cali boys? Obviously, like Sam said, it's fall football weather now. I think that's probably the first time they'll play in that type of environment. Yeah, they played in Boulder, but
they got to get used to it. They're going to be doing it next year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah. Big Ten country is coming. Yeah. When you're at Purdue and it's feeling a little wonky in Lafayette, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got to get used to it. So yeah, that would be my official play. I think I'm taking USC +3 with the points. It just it feels right, and like you said, Sam, that might be a completely wrong feeling. It might be gas. I don't know what it is, but we'll see what happens. But we'll keep it pushing to Miami and UNC. I don't even have to say it, y'all. If you're a college football fan, obviously you're watching this show, and you know that was Mario Cristobal's second most flagrant decision that he's made in his career. He obviously did it at Oregon, JD, as you know. Kneel the effing ball. Like, I just don't get it, man. Like, I get your guy. He's going to have his first 100-yard game of the season. Like, I understand it's the nerds, you know what I'm saying? You want to feel good about yourself, whatever. But I don't care if the camera showed that he was down. That is the football gods looking you directly in your face and saying, if you want to disrespect me, that's cool. But here is your L, okay? So Miami going on the road to UNC. UNC obviously got Quez back, which we love to see. I'm glad he's playing after that BS. I assume he's going to get a little bit more snaps this week, because he was kind of limited last week in his first game. So, Sam, how are you feeling about this one as Miami is trying to gain their dignity back?
I like points in this one. I like both offenses. I think Miami was, like, aside from all the bullshit that happened at the end of the game last week, like, it was a clear look ahead spot. You're playing Georgia Tech, but, like, Miami's offense has been humming this year. North Carolina's offense is doing what it's doing, and their defense has been a little bit improved for the most part in some games. Like, they're picking and choosing which games they're showing up to. But I like the points. I have an overplay in this one. I'm leaning North Carolina -2.5. I fucking hate how many favorites I like today. It sickens me because it just means we're in for like a 2007 type of Saturday. So I'm leaning over, and I'm leaning North Carolina in the points. But yeah, that's I don't really have too much outside of that. Like, I'm not going to factor in too much of what happened at the end of the game. Like, I know it's been a distraction this entire week, but I don't think it deflates your season until you lose a second game, because then you're really out of it.
Yeah, I agree. JD, how you feeling?
I agree. I think I like points as well. I definitely lean towards North Carolina, man. I think they have a much better quarterback. I think they've been better on both sides of the ball. They're at home, and it's a field goal. So I definitely like North Carolina. I think this could be a really good game, though. So North Carolina's defense, like, it's hard to really buy into them. But they've been great. They're 14th in standard down EPA per play, which is, like, really good. They have 2 star linebackers. They get pressure. That's pretty much all you have to do, right? You don't have to have too many studs if you got 2 really good ones up front, and front seven's playing well. So I kind of like North Carolina. I'm buying into them a little bit here. Miami on the road, Cristobal on the road. I can see it being a close game because that pressure UNC's been getting on everyone. Miami does have a very strong offensive line for the most part, and that's what Cristobal's supposed to be good at. And he's really paid off there, at least this season. Maybe not the decision-making part. So I think this is going to be a really good game, and I lean towards North Carolina.
Yeah, for sure. I like the points too. It's at 57 right now. Like you guys said, a field goal. I got it at -2.5. It should be a close game. But I mean, what Tyler Van Dyke are we gonna get? That's my biggest question. If you're on the Miami side, like, are we gonna get the guy who throws 4 picks, or are we gonna get the guy who carved Texas A&M up? Like, we don't know. So that's why it's kind of hard to call a side. But yeah, I do like points in this one because, again, it's some good old ACC football. While Miami's defense, I think, is pretty good, I think they will be susceptible to some shots and some big plays. So, yeah, I would like the points in this one if I had to choose. But we'll go back to the West Coast, and we'll go to, as my friend Coach B, shout out to Coach B, Fuckla. As a USC fan, that's what they call UCLA. In Oregon State, UCLA with a good late victory last week. Oregon State, one of those teams that's just, again, it's like, which DJ Ugly Liar are you going to get? Are you going to get the good one? Are you going to get the bad one? We don't know. This line is at -3.5. JD, how are you feeling about this one? Mute.
All right, I'm back. I played some under and some Oregon State team total under. Oregon State's offense has been, like, super efficient this year. They're good. They're well coached. They have a really good offensive line. Listen, I get all that. I get it. It's very vanilla. You have DJU as your quarterback. If you can dominate teams in the trenches, which they can do in 95% of matches, then they're going to look fantastic. If you can't dominate the trenches, they're just going to look like an okay football team, just another football team. I think that's how they might look here. UCLA's defense came out of nowhere, similar to what I was saying about UNC. They've been fantastic, man. Like, not just good, they've been fantastic. The third in EPA per play, second in standard down EPA per play. The defensive line is fantastic. They'll give Oregon State everything they can handle. It's going to be a big boy matchup in the trenches. Should be low scoring. You got a freshman quarterback who Chip Kelly clearly doesn't trust. Chip Kelly still doesn't know what he's going to do with his offense when he doesn't have a dual threat quarterback, because he always has a dual threat quarterback. So it's a little awkward right now with Dante Moore. I think it's still going to be awkward. I think he's going to try to control the clock as much as possible here, rely on his defense, give Carson Steele 30 carries. So to me, it kind of sounds like both teams are not going to push the tempo. Both teams are not going to have a huge amount of explosive plays, which I know it's hard to trust Oregon State's defense, just give up 40 to a third string Cal quarterback. But their D line's all right. It's just their corners stink. And right now, I'm just saying Moore's probably not going to go throw for 303 touchdowns. Maybe he will, but to me, it looks like it's still a transition. So that spells low scoring for both teams.
Okay, like it. Sam, how you feeling?
Yeah, I'd lean the under as well. No, have an official play on it. I do have Oregon State. I grabbed that -3 earlier in the week. It kind of feels similar to the Utah game where UCLA went on the road. And I don't know if I trust DJ. Is it DJ Moore?
Dante Moore.
Dante Moore. I don't really trust Dante Moore too much on the road yet in an environment that's going to be probably his second toughest that he's ever played in. Maybe a little bit more juice since it's a night game close to a night game on the West Coast at Oregon State. I don't love putting my money with DJU, but I trust the defense a little bit more at home. And I do think it'll be a defensive matchup. I like what UCLA's been able to do on the defensive side of the ball. But I think it'll kind of be similar to that Oregon State Utah game. Maybe just a little bit less scoring on Utah side or Oregon State side.
Oregon State's been great at home. They've been great. Now they got that new stadium. They haven't lost in like 2 years, it seems like. They've been lights out.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll have to see what happens. I mean, Chip, oh man, my guy. What can I say about him, JD? I don't know what to even say about that guy. But we'll see what happens. I would lean under on this one. The side is two teams that you can't really predict all that much, so I would stay away from it, but definitely would lean under. Now it's time for the big one, Sam. Of course, we're going to start with you. Finally, you're seeing a team that can't pass the ball, okay? Finally. I know you're more than excited to see a team who probably is going to throw for maybe 100 yards, maybe between both quarterbacks, maybe. I don't know. But obviously, you guys are going to the Plains. Oh, you're at home. I forgot. You're at home, which makes it even better.
Yes.
Now, I like y'all on the spread, okay? I've had a lot of LSU fans. They've been scared. And I know. I see your face too. But look, man. Again, when you have a quarterback who your fan base says, oh, man, he plays so much better at home. He plays so much better at home. And most of your offense is kind of a read option, like trickery, misdirection type of offense. I do think you're going to have a problem with LSU at the crib. I think y'all are going to be rocking. I think it's going to be a great environment. I think Jaden's going to perform well. I personally want to see Harold on the edge the entire game, okay? I don't want to see him lining up at linebacker because this is the game.
He's the best cover guy we got. What are you talking about?
I mean, and that's not saying a lot, you know what I'm saying? But it's like when you're playing an offense like this, you need a playmaker. You need a guy with athleticism to be on the edge, especially against these running backs and this quarterback. So If I was the coach, I would just put Harold on the edge and let him rock out for the whole game. Obviously, that's probably not going to happen, but we'll see. So, how are you feeling about this one? Because I saw your face was like, I don't know.
Dude, it's LSU Auburn. There's never going to be a game in this series. I think outside of 2011, like that's the only absolute beatdown that LSU's put on Auburn. And outside of that, like even in 2019, that was the closest game he played. Like freshman Bo Nix came into that game and like he made it a game. Like I don't know.
It's his body. Yeah.
It's just got the vibes of something completely weird going on. Like LSU Auburn is known for that. It's the last meeting for like a yearly, like it's the last. I know they'll play again, but like the last time it's a set meeting. So it's not on the schedule next year. I don't know what it is. I think it's just this defense. I have absolutely no faith in it. They're just as bad as
my boy.
Oh, did he get him? Did they get him? Oh, no, they got him, man. Oh, no. They got him. The Auburn fans got him.
Brian Kelly pulled the plug, I think. You heard it was talking smack on his defense.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying, man. These Auburn fans, man, they're too much. Well, while we get Sam back, JD, how are you feeling about this one?
I think Jarquez Hunter props are the way I'd look. I love Jarquez Hunter. He's like my favorite player in the world. There's something about this guy. And LSU's defense is outside the top 130 in some of the metrics I'm looking at for defense. That's pretty bad. There's only 100 and is there 34 now? They added 3 more teams, 134 teams. So that's not good. That's bottom 5. Jarquez Hunter, there was that whole thing going on in the offseason I won't mention, but he got almost 20 carries last week. Or that was 2 weeks ago. They're off a bye week. So he should be, I mean, he's the best player in the offense. I don't think it's like close whatsoever. He's plus 350 to get 100 yards. I like that. He's even money to get a touchdown. I like that. He's 67.5 on his rushing yards at DK. I like those.
Okay. Like it. It seems like Hugh Freeze escorted you out of the stream, Sam. What happened there?
Is some LSU defense on the Wi-Fi right now. Like,
spotty.
Yeah.
Spotty. I feel you. But you were saying,
yeah, I mean it's a wonky series. It's always gonna be some like it's been a great rivalry for the years that I've been watching it. A lot of history in it, and something usually happens that is unexplainable. So I'd lean Auburn in the points just because I don't trust this defense yet to make any kind of adjustments. And I mean, they played better in the second half. I'll give them that. Last week, they got the stops that they needed, and that's all you need to do for this offense. But I think the Jaden Daniels Heisman campaign rolls. The only official play I have in this game was Jaden under 0.5 interceptions at even money. So I'll take that. He's turned the ball over twice this year, and one was on a play where the wide receiver slipped in the Florida State game. So, like he's put the ball on the ground a few times, which I don't like. But there's not a prop for him to have a fumble. So if there was a prop for him to have over 0.5 fumbles, I'd maybe take that. But interceptions, that's not something he's doing a whole lot of since he's transferred to LSU.
I definitely agree. Yeah, I might, man. Fuck it. I'll make it an official play. I got it at 10.5 right now. So I got the Tigers of Louisiana State University minus 10.5, minus 110.
This is the time though for LSU to, like, if they're gonna get the defense right, like you play Auburn this week and then you play Army next week. Like you should be able to out athlete Army. That shouldn't be a contest. And if you want to get some momentum rolling into the Alabama game, like now's the time. You can't let Auburn, a terrible offense, get going. Like just shut down the run, make Peyton Thorne beat you through the air. And it shouldn't come down to it. But if he's able to beat you through the air, I have no faith in this defense going forward.
Yeah, for sure. And you'll escort Hugh Freeze out the building. Sorry, I had to say that again. So we'll have another Talk It Out segment. Like we said, if you're new to this show, Talk It Out is when you don't really feel confident about either side on a bet. You got to talk to your friends, and that's what we're here to do. A lot of y'all probably are on the fence about this matchup. We got 7 versus 8, Washington at Oregon. JD, you got your Ducks hat on right now. My guy Bo, I kind of expect a big game from him, honestly. And I don't want to say that too loud so people can't hear me, but I kind of think, I mean, look, Arizona ran 4 million screens last week, which I don't really know if that's the way that you beat UW, but whatever, they can do what they want. Don't have the greatest quarterback. So how are you feeling about this matchup going into it? Probably the biggest game of the season.
I feel pretty good. Obviously, going into Washington, going into Seattle, it's not going to be easy. Michael Penix, I know he's getting a lot of recognition this year. I feel like he still doesn't get enough, man. The throws this guy is making with regularity every single drive, every single week. Like Oregon's defense has been lights out. I'm like starting to think they're getting overconfident. I still don't totally trust them. You know, Kyrie Jackson, good corner, but the rest of these guys, I'm just not so sure about. And Penix does things that other college quarterbacks do not do unless you're playing Drake May or Caleb Williams. They just don't do it. The throws he makes, the wide receivers you're going to play. So Washington's going to score. They are. The biggest mismatch, and I think Bo will be fine. It's road Bo Nix. But I think the biggest mismatch and why he should be fine is Oregon's elite running the ball. They're first in EPA per rush, first in rushing explosiveness, first in line yards. They've been absolutely dominating the trenches. Again, that's the second straight year. And Washington hasn't been able to defend the rush for 2 straight years. And their defensive front is getting pretty weak, man. They're outside the top 115 in a lot of my metrics, 119th in line yards, 133rd in front 7 havoc. That's second to last in the country. They haven't been getting any pressure. I don't really trust Washington's defense, man. I don't really trust. So overall, what I think I'm trying to say here is the offense is pretty much a wash because even while Washington has a better passing game, Oregon has a better running game, way better offensive line. I think it's close to a wash. These are 2 of the top offenses in the country. It is what it is. 2 of the most veteran top quarterbacks. It's hard to give either side an edge. Defensively, I do think Oregon's better, even with, I said, the vulnerabilities possibly in the secondary. Hey, they've played well so far, and they've been getting pressure along the interior, which is how you attack Washington's offensive line. They're good on the tackles. They have 2 really good tackles, but their interior is not great. So long story short, of course, I have a lot of bias here, but I am feeling pretty confident about the matchup. Last year, it was close. Bo Nix got hurt. This year, Bo Nix is healthy. This year, the defense is 8 times better than it was last year. Could still get burnt to a crisp in this matchup. Any defense could in this one. But long story short, I think Oregon's improved more year over year than Washington has, while Washington's obviously still a top team in the country. So long story short, Oregon looks okay. But of course, I'm not going to bet this game. I'm going to be way too emotionally invested anyway.
I feel you. Sam, how you feeling?
Points, baby. I'm taking the over in all of these big Pac-12 matchups this year. I don't care what it takes. Like all these offenses are elite, and I don't know. I think JD's kind of right, or JD's right with Washington having a weaker defense than Oregon, but I think home field advantage is going to come into major play here. Like this is probably the biggest home game. I don't know if the USC game will have as much juice by the time it rolls around, just with how their season could shake out. They may not. I mean, USC is going to be a big opponent no matter who they play with, the defending Heisman champion or Heisman Trophy winner coming in. But I think this is the biggest home game of the year for Washington. I think they know they have to win at least one of these 2 games to keep the playoff hopes alive. They cannot drop them both. And I think the offense is just elite. Like it's one of the 2 best in the country. I think I'm going to show my bias here, but the stats back it up. I think LSU's right up there with them. And I think the 3-headed monster at receiver is going to be a little too much. I think Washington just makes one more play than Oregon, whichever team has the ball last kind of game. But yeah, give me the points, and I'm leaning Washington.
Okay. I feel you. Now on this one, I'll be honest. I think Penix is the clear Heisman winner right now. I think their receiving core is criminally underrated. I think they should be getting talked about as potentially the best in not even just the country. I think they're the best in the Pac-12 as well. I mean, it's kind of hard. I mean, yeah, USC has great guys over there too, but
They got the
I,
best
I
trio.
yeah, like I really like those. I really like those guys. So unfortunately, as I say all that, I'm pulling the Stephen A. Smith. I think the Cinderella run is over. I think it is. I got the Ducks on the money line, to be honest with you guys. I think the trenches are going to come into play largely in this game. And if Oregon can control the clock, which is something they're going to have to do to keep this explosive offense from Washington, off of the field, I think they can do it, man. I really do. So I'm sorry, but I think the Cinderella run is over, man. It is just time to come for it to come to an end, and then Oregon goes on. They'll play USC, and we'll see who is going to play for the championship in LA or wherever the hell it is. I don't know. Where is it this year, JD? It's in LA?
Vegas?
Yeah, I think it's been in
I think it's Vegas.
Vegas.
Now.
It was in Santa Clara because
Yeah.
I used to go to them, and then they moved it to Vegas, unfortunately, for Allegiant. So it should still be in Vegas.
Oh, yeah. Money grab. You already know what that is. Yeah. But yeah, that was our Talk It Out segment. So I got Washington. Oh, well, I got Oregon, should I say, on the money line, plus 130. We'll see what happens. But we have made it to the end of the show. JD, we'll let you start with any other plays for the day. Obviously, he is a DFS champion, so please give us everything that you got.
Yeah, really excited for the main slate, of course. There's some big news. Well, I guess it's not huge news, but you got your Johnny Wilson out for Florida State. Let's see, we got Travion Henderson out for Ohio State. So this is just some of the news I'm monitoring as we are doing the show. So if it looks like I'm distracted,
yeah, we did get a question about this. Yeah, any thoughts on FSU covering that spread?
They probably do. I don't really like Syracuse, so
yeah,
like they do that weird thing where they win a few games and then they fall off a cliff. They're falling off a cliff right now, and Florida State should be getting better. So sure,
is it a look ahead spot for Florida State at all? No, they have Duke up next.
Could be, but Duke, you got no Riley Leonard. Duke, I feel like teams kind of take Duke lightly more than they should, so it could be, but they're at home.
Yeah.
All right, so what do I have this week? I have Wyoming plus 11.5 versus Air Force. I mean, that's a lot of points for two low-scoring teams. Wyoming's played the option well. I like Wyoming there. I took San Jose State, New Mexico over 56. San Jose State's going to score. Of course they are. And then their defense is bottom 2 in EPA per play, second worst. So I like overs. I don't think there's been enough reaction. I played the UCLA Oregon State under 54, as I talked about on the show. I played Georgia minus 31.5 against Vanderbilt. Georgia's coming into form. Vanderbilt doesn't have a form. They don't have a form. You just like pour them out and they just fall onto the floor like liquid. That's where Vandy's at as a program. So they're just going to get stomped all over. Other than that, UNLV, my last play. I got a lot of Mountain West plays this week. That's interesting. UNLV minus 8 against Nevada. UNLV's been a wagon. Nevada, similar to what I just mentioned with Vanderbilt. They're nothing. They haven't shown anything. So give me UNLV. Mute.
Old man move. Sam, how you feeling?
All right, we've had a couple that we've given out. Just Oregon, Washington over 66.5. Leaning Washington -3. Tennessee -3. Estimate 2+ touchdowns at +220. We sprinkled that. North Carolina, Miami over 56. North Carolina -2.5. Oregon State -3.5. I fucking hate how many minuses I'm giving out. It's going to be an awful day for me, but fade me. I've been awful this year if you really feel that way. And then Jaden Daniels under 1 interception at even money. So we also have Mizzou money line. I don't believe in Kentucky. I don't think they can. I don't think they can stop Mizzou's offense. And I know LSU was able to run the ball last week, but LSU has one of the best offensive lines in the country, and they have a 2-headed monster in Jaden plus Logan Diggs that is a very hard offense or very hard rushing attack to stop, especially when you have the weapons on the outside. I don't think they're going to have as much issue stopping Kentucky's running game, and Devin Leary's been bad. So I don't believe in Kentucky at home. I think Missouri's the best team or second best team in the East, and I think they're going to score more points. I think the wrong team's favored. So money line plus 114. Alabama, Arkansas over 46.5. I think Alabama gets at least 31. Arkansas's defense hasn't been very good, and I think there's going to be some points in this one. At least gets over 50. I think Alabama will be able to do a good amount of the damage. They'll be able to run the ball. They'll be able to move the ball very well against Arkansas's defense. They're kind of reeling. They've had a very tough stretch, LSU, A&M, Ole Miss in consecutive weeks, and now they got to go to Alabama. So I do not like this spot for Arkansas. I'm not touching the spread, but I think there's going to be at least 50 points in this one, and you got to sit in that 46.5. And then finally, I'm going to go Florida, South Carolina over 50 as well. I think South Carolina has a very good offense. Their defense is susceptible to giving up big plays. Florida's has had that at several times throughout the year. They've been able to hit on those, and I don't have a feeling on the side in this one, but give me the over. I feel like it's a little too low. I feel like both these teams can score on each other's defenses.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I guess I'll start my plays right there with you, Sam. I fully agree with you. Depends on what Florida team we're going to get. A Florida team that gives a damn or a Florida team that doesn't give a damn. As we saw in Kentucky, they just didn't give a damn. That's what it was. So I don't know, but I'm taking the over 50 points with you as well, my brother. I'm taking the over in Nashville, Tennessee today with the Dogs and Vandy. Georgia might cover this on their own, bro. Y'all want to know the last time Vandy scored a touchdown in this matchup? 4 years ago. 4 years ago. Carson was a junior in high school the last time they scored a touchdown in this matchup. I think the offense is humming. I think Mike Bobo and Kirby now trust Carson to fully open up the playbook to him. So I got the over. I got the Dogs minus 32 as well. That's a personal play. So
I have a question on this one.
Yes.
Should we start hammering Brock Bowers props with the Heisman campaign starting?
Look, let me go see what his receiving number is at. But this is the only thing. If it's in the hundreds, I don't know if you would take it because I think this game is going to be over by mid-third. Like it's at 78.
Yeah, I don't think he may not play enough. That's what I'm worried about in this game. But like going forward, I think his props need to be hammered.
Oh yeah, bro. When I tell you that Florida game, whatever that prop comes out at, I'm taking it. I don't care if it's at 300 yards. I'm taking it. But it's at 78.5. I'd be a little hesitant because I think we see all three quarterbacks from Georgia this
week. Get that on one fucking play.
Yeah, look, I'm telling you. So I think we see all three quarterbacks. So I don't know if it's gonna work, but like I said, I got the over in this one because I think Georgia can cover it by themselves. Like to be honest with you, and I also have another interesting stat. Every single Ohio State coach, I think the last 4 Ohio State coaches have had an L at Purdue. Now I'm not taking the money line because I'm not foolish. Okay, I'm not that stupid. But 17 points is a lot of points for a Purdue team. Look, I don't have a lot of confidence in them. Okay, but kind of similar to Auburn, weird shit just happens sometimes when they play at home, and especially against Ohio State. Ohio State again, their offense just has not impressed me at all. We got football weather up there, like you said, Sam. So
I'm about 45 minutes from Purdue, and I can give you a live shot of what it is. It is gray, light rain, windy. It is disgusting outside.
I like this.
Exactly.
I like
so that's why I got the Boilermakers. I got a little sprinkle. It's not a full unit. I got probably like quarter unit. I got a little sprinkle on the Boilermakers. JD,
I like this. I would just want to say I like this. The more I'm hearing about this, I'm liking this. I see where the line's coming in. Ohio State, well, their top 2 running backs without Emeka Egbuka. I was just checking out. So against Maryland last week, they ran for 62 yards. And that's like by far the least Maryland's allowed, and they haven't played anybody. Like Towson ran for 142 on them, so the O line has been bunk. Their quarterback is not good. McCord is not good at football. He's got MHJ to bail him out. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm gonna be joining.
That's what I was saying. Look, and like I said, I think the last 3 or 4 coaches, they've all had a loss at Purdue. Just putting it out there. But I got the Boilermakers plus 17. I think that's going to be a solid choice. I got Oregon, like I said in the big game, plus 130 on the money line. I just think the trenches is going to be different. I got Sam's Tigers minus 10.5. They're finally playing a team that can't throw the ball, and I think that's going to.
But they're the worst rushing defense in the SEC too.
I know. That is true. But again, put Harold on the fucking defensive line, dude. Stop overthinking it, BK. Please. He's really good on the defensive line. Please. Anyway, and then I have a homecoming special, baby. I got the Georgia State Panthers money line minus 115. I will not be in the building because I'll probably be too inebriated to even go into the stadium. But I'll be outside the stadium, and my energy and my aura will pass on to my Panthers. I think we're going to run all over Marshall. So I got the Panthers minus 115 on the money line, and that will be it for me. Boys, appreciate you as always. You have anything you want to share with the people before we get out of here?
No, just wanted to say thanks for having me on. It was fun. It's going to be a great day of college football.
Check out JD's covers articles each week. He's putting them out every day.
Yes, the covers articles. Utah State last night almost gave me a heart attack. That was ridiculous, but we ended up hitting plus 5.5 by the hook. Thank you for going for 2. Fresno State. That was very nice of you. Hit the SGP in that one too. It was plus 452, I think, plus 402. One of those 4s with the 2s. Anyway, check them out. Got some player props up. Got some good stuff. I wrote up the UCLA game, which I talked about, and then I have the Hawaii game as well. So other than that, thanks for having me on, fellas. Good luck this week.
As always, best of luck to you as well, my brother Sam. As always, I appreciate you. I will be better and more professional next week, y'all, I promise. But it's homecoming. I have to be a little bit reckless. It's the only time of year I can be that way, okay? So pay for play. Follow us. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel as well at Win Today TV. Follow Sam. Follow JD. Follow your boy as well.
Another great slate next week, too. We're starting to roll.
Come on now. That's why I said I'm so sad. It's almost coming to an end, but it's all right. All the good things come to an end eventually. But till we see y'all next week, man. Peace.